Hello everybody, my name is Sophie and welcome back to another video. If there's one thing that Ellie Hazelwood is going to do, it's write. That's what she's doing, and I commend her for it for the sole reason that she provides me with content. At this point, I have read almost all of her books. Yeah, I'm basically the #1 stan. The #1 Ellie stan. What are her fans called? The Hazelwoods? I'm a #1 lumberjack. I'm sure her fandom has a name. She would not let the fandom without a name. Alas, that being said, why does she write so much? I'm not sure. I have to just get it out right away. I know that the sign in the background says book, which is considerably uncreative since all that I talk about on this channel are books, but I misplaced my letters. So this is all I got. Actually, you know what? I can adjust it a little bit. I have a few letters available and I think maybe we could pimp it with book L. Or no, L book! That's what you say, that's what the kids say. I mean, Ellie Hazelwood keeps writing, I keep reading, I keep being disappointed, I sit here, I talk about it, I tell you that I've read almost all of her books, that I don't remember any of them, and then you say, why do you still read them? And then I tell you people ask me to, and then you're like, I don't believe you, but it's the truth, like, people do want to hear from me. So if you're wondering why I'm still here, that's why. Who am I if not a servant of my people, right? And if you like this book, that's fine. With all of Ellie Hazelwood's books, again, I've read worse. They're not the worst. They're just not really good either. So that's fine, love you. This book was not on my radar. I was wanting to review another book and then I postponed it for unspecified reasons, which I'm the one who should be specifying because it's my channel, but I'm not going to be specifying at this moment. I was like, I need a quick book to read and review before I review the book that I originally wanted to review. What can I get? And then I thought of Love Theoretically by Ellie Hazelwood, because that is one of her highest ranked books. And I was like, okay, there's gotta be some juice in there. And then I posted it in my Instagram story. I said, hello, my dearest book haters. What do you think I'm reading? And then one book hater, Brie, if you're watching this, you better. One of my members, she was the first one to say, oh, didn't Ellie Hazelwood put out a new book? And I was like, oh, she did? And that made me realize that the day I posted that story, this book, Problematic Summer Romance by Ellie Hazelwood, was released. When I had every intention of reading Love Theoretically. I already purchased it, but alas. Postponed. Instead I read this book. It was only €6 on Kindle, which is very cheap for an ebook, and I'm losing all of my hair. You know, whatever curse y'all put on me, it's working actually. Please rebuke it. So I picked up this instead. And it was well-fitting, whatever, because I read Not in Love by Ellie Hazelwood. Why do I keep saying that? Everybody knows. We all know why we're here. I read Not in Love, which is the prequel or the first book in this I don't even know what you can call it, duology series, whatever. She doesn't usually do that, but there was a sister character, like the sister of the main character in Not in Love, and the book is about her. And her love interest is a 15-year-old older man. That was also in the first book. And then I saw someone say on Goodreads, you should have read the first one. Like, this is a sequel. And it's like, no. Relax. Take a deep breath. While this is officially like Not in Love 2, it isn't really a sequel because she was explaining everything that the main characters do as if, like, for people who hadn't read the first book, you know what I mean? Like, you don't have to read the first book. It doesn't get, nothing fucking matters with Ellie Hazelwood, peace and love. So we're here today after I finished it. It was a quick read. Again, Ellie Abla, she's always reliable that she's going to deliver this exact same thing over and over again. And so, back to the sign. I got sidetracked, sorry. What I wanted the sign to say was infinite money glitch, because I truly think she's found it with her writing style. And I also believe that if I sat down and thought for 5 minutes, I could do it the same. Not better, because obviously, but the same. I understand when people like Ellie Hazelwood. And I think it's the same reason people have a favorite romance author, because they usually do the same thing over and over again. Peace and love, peace and love. They deliver the same thing. It's reliable. You don't have to think too hard about it. It's maybe even fun to read at times. It's quick. It's easy. And that's also the whole reason I was wanting to read one of her books, because I need something quick and easy. And a little bit dirty. So, what is not so problematic in love summer? What is the title of this book? Problematic Summer Love, no Romance. Oh, that is the title of this book, and that is an amazing title, and it's like a check list on the front of the cover. It's like Problematic Summer Romance, question mark? That's a big question mark. We have the main character, Maya, who is Ellie's sister. Ellie was the main dude from Not in Love, and Ellie is now marrying the main girly pop from Not in Love, who's Rue, and I'm gonna say it, I don't remember what that book was about at all. The only reason I remember anything from that first book was because they rehashed it in this one, and they brought it back up, and then I was like, oh yeah, there was something about that and that. I think Not in Love I read when I was on vacation, didn't I? You tell me. I don't remember. It doesn't really matter. They end up, and now they are going to Italy, where Ellie Hazelwood is originally from, and they go to Sicily, which makes me wonder, is Ellie Hazelwood originally from Sicily? And Maya is coming, but you already get the premise at the beginning of the book that she doesn't necessarily want to go to the wedding because he will be there. And the question is, who is he? He is a grown-ass 38-year-old man. No. Okay, right off the bat, my opinion on age gap. I don't like it. I don't like it either direction, and I especially don't like it when one of the parties is in their 20s, I think. If she was 30, because the main character is 23, if she was 33 and he was 48 instead of 38, I think I would have not given a fuck. But just the fact that she is in her early 20s and he's in his late 30s gives me the ick. And then the way these characters also behave, it wasn't really, nothing really was adding up for me. Nothing of this worked for me, and it reminds me of a relationship, two relationships I know of in real life, actually. Let me tell you, let me spill the tea on people who, you know, have nothing to do with me. The job I worked before, my boss was actually younger than me, believe it or not. She was 21 at the time I was working there, and she met a guy because he came to shop there. I worked in retail. He came to shop there, and he was 35, which is basically their age gap in this book. And then he hit on her, and she was like, hee hee, and now they're on vacation in Italy together. Was. They are, I'm not lying. Oh my god. Is this about them? Is this book about them? Yeah, anyway, the point I'm trying to make is I'm really aware of these age gaps, because I know one single person I have nothing to do with who is with this older man, and before they started dating they were just like seeing each other, and I remember her once saying, oh, it's okay because my friends always say that I'm mature for my age. Oh, I got goosebumps. I quit the next day. I have to say, like, it just always confuses me when people can't find a partner in their age range. And I think an age range can be like plus minus 5 years. And instead it's like 15 years. 15 years is very much for me, I'm sorry. If he was like 29, I would have also been like, okay, it's not even an age gap now. When is it an age gap? Anyway, I don't want to step on anyone's toes. You can do whatever you like, obviously, in your private life. I'm just critiquing this book and also the way these characters behave. I think that the way, like, I know what Ellie was trying to do. I can imagine what she was trying to do, but I think it didn't really deliver. And we will talk more about it, obviously, but the vocal point of, or the vocal issue of this story is the age gap, and that is what is keeping the two characters apart and nothing else. And you're like, okay, maybe the age gap can be a little bit sexy. It's like a forbidden romance, like he's also the brother's best friend, right? But Ellie Hazelwood just made the choice that Maya, the main character, would keep referring to her love interest as like a grandpa and stuff like that, and like just really hammering home the fact that they had a 15-year age gap. And it's like, girl, we fucking get it. You're making me go, ugh. Which I already did go beforehand, but alas. As I said, they have a destination wedding in Italy, and I don't exactly remember where, doesn't really matter. They go to a villa, because everyone is rich, right? If you don't remember, or if you don't know, go watch my review. The fuck? The brother and the love interest in this book are in a company together, and they are they acquire startups, and it's like biotech something, and it's a little bit ominous, but they're very, very rich, like disgustingly rich. And the sister of the brother, Maya, she is a physician. She's into physics. Is that a physician? No, that's a physicist. Those are two different things. And she's supposedly really, really smart, getting scholarships left and right. One of the conflicts is her having to choose a position because she's getting offers from everywhere and she can't decide. And it doesn't really matter in the end because she chooses neither because she wants to fuck her 15-year-old boyfriend. She's also not very smart. In this book, at least. She's supposed to be, but she wasn't written that way. She was written very childish, which is great for an age gap romance. I'm struggling. She is saying, I don't want to go to the wedding because he will be there, and with, I haven't even said his name, Connor. You're 40 and your name is Connor? I'm kidding. Connor is part of the company, and he is like a very important person in the company, whatever. They were really close for 3 years, and then 10 months ago they had a falling out, and they stopped speaking. So what Allie does is she skips between them meeting and the time they spent together in the past and today. And I understand what she was trying to do, and I appreciate it. However, most of the bonding that these two characters have, which was over 3 years, happens off page, and we're just supposed to understand and believe it. But on page, all we see is like an emotionally unavailable bitch-ass motherfucker. So that's confusing to me. Also, people keep telling Maya that she looks so much like her brother, and Connor, who's also referred to as Hark, if I accidentally say that, I'm sorry, is her brother's best friend. So that again raises the question to me, does he want to fuck her brother? It doesn't help that he's traditionally masculine, while my personal style is as cutesy as they come. What is traditionally masculine? Is it just a suit and tie? Anyway, I don't know. His expression is a special blend of exhaustion and disgust that only old money people can successfully pull off. His profile, which once awed me enough to force me to educate myself about the anatomy of the zygomatic bone and its relationship to the maxilla, is identical to when I last saw him. Was? Hab ich gerade gelesen. Two things that bother me here. First of all, why the fuck would his profile look different from 10 months ago? Nose job? What would be different? Second of all, who thinks like that? Who thinks like that? I always say this about every single Ellie Hazelwood book that I read, even the one about the werewolves where the girl was like a gamer or something. She was like in STEM, but not the medical STEM. But she would still think in very medical and abstract terms. And I get that that's Ellie Hazelwood's background. Well, nobody in the world who's not in that background would think like that. And I don't even think Ellie Hazelwood thinks like, nobody in the world thinks like this. Tell me, if you are in STEM, do you think like that? I don't understand why she always has to do the narration like this. And then people will have conversations where terms like this will also come up and everybody will just know what they're talking about. To me, I think what bothers me with her books a lot is that I just think, or I just cannot connect to this fuck ass. Thank you guys for watching. I actually don't know what I was going to say. Exposition, whatever the fuck this is. I don't understand. It's too far from reality for me to just like shrug it off. And it's also like, people will say, oh, it's just, her writing style, it's her quirkiness coming through. There's like one quote about something looking like a boob that's infected with something. It's like about a coffee with foam on it, like it's a boob, and then like I'm supposed to... Nobody thinks like that, Allie. Or do you? No. Anyway, next. I did try to contact Connor again. We were, after all, good friends. Despite his fear of misconstruction, our relationship had been explicitly not romantic. But Connor saw right through that. Instead of picking up my calls, he would reply with texts that made something very clear. He was there for me, but he'd rather wire me $1 million than have 5-minute conversations with me. What I just read out to you, I don't even know, but I think that this perfectly encapsulates the relationship between Maya and Connor. This is a 38-year-old man. He does not... I don't know how... I actually don't know anyone that's 38 specifically. I don't know how they behave. I don't think it's like this he is super childish, emotionally unavailable. He has like trauma. His dad was some mogul who died and he's happy that he's dead, blah, blah, blah. He's traumatized from his childhood and that makes him emotionally unavailable. He can't open up to anybody. He did open up to Maya, and I think this just kind of made the character think that she was just entitled to having him fuck her. I don't know. He opens up to her for no other reason, from what I understood, then that he thinks she's hot, which was at 20 and he was 35. And then for 3 years they had a friendship that she did hump on his leg. One time. It was one time. But then other than that, they were just friends for 3 years. And then it was just like a flirty, weird relationship because he felt like, because like the second night that they hung out, she humped on his leg, he could open up to her, to this 20-year-old, which is so fucking weird. So she knows everything about him, but he never really wanted to fuck because she's too young. That's his issue. His issue is just that she's 15 years younger. He doesn't have any other issues. And so she's been trying so hard for 3 years, and then also this book, to get him to fuck. That is... that's all that's happening. And she keeps pressuring him, making innuendos. At one point the line comes up, I'm gonna just say it right now. I'm so silly skipping forward. No is a full sentence, but she explicitly writes that in the book, but the main character doesn't understand that concept, I think. I don't know how many of you who are watching this have read the book, but she gave me the feel that she continuously tried to seduce him in different ways just because she knew that there was like some slight interest, but he kept saying no. He was like, you're too young is also no, you know. Does she know that? He does reveal at one point that he has a stepmother that's even younger than him. Yeah. Oh, another thing that I forgot to mention about Maya, one of her issues, because Ellie Hazelwood also wants to give the main characters issues all the time, like that's so stupid. I feel like she always tries to find something to represent, which in itself is not a bad idea, but I think that she rarely does it good. In this book, she chose anger issues to be represented by Maya, the main character. And there were a few scenes where she was like, somebody says something and I see red, like I see hot rage, like I can't think straight, I can't see anything, I'm so blah, blah, blah. You know how anger issues are, well, according to Ellie Hazelwood. And I just want to say that it didn't work. Happy to report that I don't have anyone in my life that deals with anger issues as far as I'm concerned. And so I've never had to experience that. And so I can't give like first-hand accounts. But I imagine that anger issues are often, like when you actually have anger issues, your anger is often irrational and comes out of nowhere and is like hard to control for her also, but it's just like you don't even really need a big trigger that would like logically make someone angry. They are just illogically angry also. This is not the case for Maya. She gets in arguments with people and then she just gets angry at them because they were being mean to her and stuff like that. So it's like, okay, like you're valid. And there are no other scenes where she gets angry. Like, her ex-boyfriend cheats on her with her best friend. She's, like, angry at that. And she's like, oh, my anger issues. Girl. You have a right to be angry about that. Kana also used to date one of the people in this group. Her name is Minami. And she is now married with child. And that was, like, 10 years ago. But he did propose to her, to Minami, when they were together. And she said no. And so everybody in this friend group just assumes that even though she is married with child, carrying another child, that she is now his lost love and he is never getting over her and he's pining after her still. And everyone just assumes that because he's so closed off to everybody, nobody tells, like, he doesn't tell anybody anything about what he thinks, not even his best friend, which doesn't make any sense to me. I hate men. But what I think is very interesting is the fact that Maya decides to refer to Minami, who she's also known her whole life, which I didn't mention yet. She's known all of these people basically her whole life, or at least half of her life, because she is only 23. Her parents raised her, and her brother didn't have a good relationship with their parents, but then they died very young, and when she was like 12, 13, 14, maybe even younger, I'm not sure anymore, I'm just gonna say that age, he took her in and raised her. And so he was already 15 years older, starting his company, so all of these people in the company know her, including Connor and Minami, who were dating. He proposed, she declined. Everyone thinks he's depressed because of this, but he's not depressed because of her, but because he wants to fuck a 20-year-old. So, you know. And the reason I was telling you this is because she refers to Minami as her mother figure, and Minami is her lover's almost ex-fiance. Almost. He's making it weirder and weirder. I don't know, she was really like trying to prove that everybody was aware of the age gap, but no one really minded. Ugh, I don't really know what she was going for, actually. I think I said earlier I know what she was going for. I don't know. I take it back. So the way that her and Connor first properly met, because it is said that he knew her, obviously, because she lived with his business partner and best friend, because she's his sister. But he would also take her to like appointments when she was younger and couldn't drive, like dentist appointments and stuff like that. So Maya had some issues in her teen years, which aren't that far back because she's only 23, where she would rebel against her brother, didn't listen to what he said, was doing drugs, blah blah blah. So she decided to get away from Austin, which is where they live, which is also where allegedly the author lives. And she decides to move to Scotland for university. And there she had a boyfriend in the past who ended up cheating on her with her best friend, which is what I mentioned earlier. And she is supposed to be chill about it. Like, everyone around her expects her to be chill about it, which was just not understandable to me. Like, they were all like, oh, you're overreacting, like, it's not that deep, blah, 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 they're better together anyway. But since Maya didn't have any other friends, really, she didn't know what to do, and so she ends up panic calling her brother, which she never does. I think she mentions she hadn't called him for, like, multiple months or something because they didn't have a good relationship, and he doesn't pick up because he's on a plane. And instead, she gets transferred to Connor, and that is how their relationship starts. They talk on the phone, she tells him the situation, he decides to fly in to Scotland to visit her and pretend like he is a guy that like has some sort of interest in her, and that way they connect and start talking to one another regularly over the next 3 years, and that is kind of their origin story, if you will. He smiles, loop-sided, and I wonder if he had plastic surgery, Botox, facelift, the thing where they suck fat out of your cheeks. Not because his features have changed, but because he looks young. Not young. Not he could sit next to me at lecture and I wouldn't bat an eye young. Connor is obviously a man, and the campus reality in which I move is made up of boys. He must be around my brother's age, 34, 35, but while I was growing up, Ellie and, I think you say Eli, right? Eli and his friends, with their adult problems and adult lifestyles and adult conversations, always seemed ancient to me. I don't know how to... antediluvian, boring. Now, now that I am an adult too, she's 20 at this point, Connor Harkness just feels like a peer. No. I would never feel like a 35-year-old man is a peer. I was hanging out for a week with a 35-year-old man actually just recently, but I'm 24 now. If I had hung out, I mean this with peace and love, but like 20 and 35 are so far apart. Absolutely not. Connor seems charmed, even as his eyes roam my desk and stumble on the birth control post-it that I put up to avoid forgetting my pills. Put a reminder on your fuck-ass phone. He nods to himself, faintly discomposed. Told you, not 13. Still not sure about that. I'm an adult. I go to school in a different country. I have a credit card. I own sex toys. I impulsively open my bedside drawer and show him my stash. Okay. He came in, or flew in out of the goodness of his heart because he was like, I can't just let you be alone without any support system, because she also lives with this ex-boyfriend and friend in one apartment and they're just together and you're alone and blah blah blah. He's so nice. What your roommate and your ex did is so abominable and devoid of decency. If your friend had found out with you, she would have helped you sharpen every knife in the kitchen. I laugh and tear up a little and yawn. I just ... I kind of thought maybe Alfie was the one. Based on what? He ... He's funny. There's a lot of ... by the way. Like a lot, now that I'm really looking at the page. Why the fuck fuck does she do that in every fucking sentence? He's funny, especially when he's drunk, and he left me space. I need a lot of space sometimes. And he helped me when I wanted to be snuggled. All of these things you listed, a dog could do. When I was 14, I was obsessed with Shatter Me, and I just know Aaron Warner has said that before. So you're not slick. You're not slick. While they are in Italy, they stay at the villa, which is close to a volcano, which erupts at one point and therefore also disrupts the entire wedding plans. Nobody can fly in, nobody can fly out, they can't go to their wedding location as far as I'm concerned, and everyone who was supposed to join them can't come in because of this volcano eruption. And that just makes me wonder, like, why would you go have your wedding at a spot where there is an active volcano that could potentially disrupt your wedding plans in the first place? That seems super irrational to me. As if there are not enough places in Italy you could go. Of course it's a plot device, but it's just like, it didn't make any sense to me, especially because at the end of the day, this volcanic eruption had no further point. It's not like any of them were super into volcanoes, that they wanted to be by the volcano that could potentially erupt to see it for themselves. It just disrupts the wedding. Anyway, she wants to explore Italy because she has done a lot of traveling in her life, allegedly, according to her, but she never went to Italy. Maybe I'm lying. Connor is like, you cannot go alone, because he's also super, like, possessive and jealous all of the time, even though he keeps saying, no, I don't want to fuck, you're too young, but also you can't do anything by yourself, which is great. Agency is something that nobody needs. She is about to go to the city and explore, and he's like, no, I'm gonna come with you. And then his ex-girlfriend, who's also there, not the one who's married with a kid, but the other one that I haven't mentioned so far, is like, oh, are you guys going to the city? Let's go, all three of us. And Maya's just like, absolutely not. She keeps comparing herself to this lady, who is a grown woman, by the way, more age appropriate. She is the reason, this lady is the reason that Connor stopped talking to her 10 months ago, because he was basically like, I've met someone, this could become something serious, you're too young for me, I don't want to talk to you anymore because this is confusing and I want to focus on that relationship, but that never ended up going anywhere. It reminded me of that one thing that people keep saying, and I forgot the name of it, where it's like that rule that men will just at one point decide to settle down with a woman even though they don't necessarily fuck with her that much. I don't think that's the verbiage of that theory. But that is basically what Connor was doing. He was like, well, what the fuck am I supposed to do? What the fuck am I supposed to do? I can't get with a 20-year-old. I'm just gonna find someone my age. And so it was this lady. And she also works with them, so that's why she's also there. So they go to the city. The guy over there was trying to figure out the total and ... Did you hear the word he used? Nope. Figlia. And it means ... What the fuck? Why are there so many ... I never realized. Daughter. He pointed at you and asked if our daughter was older than 18. What? How am I supposed to root for them if she looks younger than 18 and he's an almost 40-year-old man and people confuse her for his daughter? Sorry? But my brother and Connor are fundamentally different. Ellie feels young, with his boyish, open-hearted, carefree energy. Connor less so, and it has little to do with graying hair and everything to do with the half a dozen walls twinning around him at any given time. So just keep hammering home the fact that he's a grown-ass, old-ass man. I got it, girl. His skull still makes my heart beat faster, but my heart too is nothing more than a clump of atoms? I don't know what she was trying to say here, and what her fucking point is, and why anyone would think this, but anyway. How about you start posing for that picture? Avery and I share a smile. I think we might really be best friends now, which is his ex, right? Avery? Yeah? If you had to guesstimate, how often would you say Connor Harkness thinks about the Roman Empire? Anyway, I mentioned we get another flashback of when he was still in Scotland with her before he flew back and they started having calls. She does jerk it on his leg, and that's the extent of the intimacy. It was really random. So this was when he was 35 and she was 20. I don't think Connor enjoys being at the center of attention. He's well practiced, socially adept, but it's obvious to me that he sees my friends as infants who just outgrew their diapers. Okay. After pressing him about 10 minutes, I discovered that in his spare time, which I do not have, Maya, he enjoys playing grand strategy war games. The fact that he says he doesn't have any spare time, but flew out to Scotland to hang out with her, calls her for multiple hours a day, every day after that, I think he does have spare time and free time. And I hate men who lie. He's so much older than me, our age gap could apply for a driver's permit. Okay. I love their relationship. I love when the man is like, my dad. No. Take it back. My favorite part about this book is the fact that the bitches from the water book turn up. Wet. It wasn't called Wet. It ended up being called something else. What the fuck? Do I have that book? Anyway, the diving one, where one of them is a diver and one of them is a swimmer, and I also reviewed it. And they actually turn up for vacation in Italy or something. And then they meet with Maya. Absolutely no reason for this cameo. She just keeps doing them in all of her books for whatever reason. The dude is like, hey, do you know where the train station is? I don't know what he asked her. She's like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Can you act like you're going to put your number in my phone so the dude over there gets jealous? And he's like, your dad? And she's like, no, not my dad. No, he doesn't say that, but he could have. Not my dad, but the guy over there who I really want to fuck. And he's like, yeah, I'll just give you my girlfriend's number and then you can text her and tell her how everything turned out. And she does end up doing that, texting Scarlett was her name from that book, one single time, and that's when, or not that's when, but Connor notices while they're texting that they are texting, and he just assumes that that dude wants to fuck her so bad, even though she's like, no, he had a girlfriend, whatever. No, he wanted to fuck you. Okay. What the fuck? The repercussion of him catching her text someone and her being like, oh, maybe I'm gonna meet up with him, haha. He's like, I'm literally going to finger you upstairs. And then he does. And that's it. The boutique has been refusing. She just called the person on the line a herpetic little mouth sore. Maybe it's the pregnancy hormones, but it made me a bit horny. Nobody talks like this. Anyway, we are halfway through the book. Is there much else that happens? No. I've read out lines to you and conversations, and you just have to imagine that they happen over and over again, where she or people start telling her like, oh, Connor can't stop looking at you, he has a crush on you. Her being like, no, he doesn't like me. Then her trying to seduce him. Her being like, oh, I'm gonna meet with someone, I'm gonna do this. Him being jealous and like, no, you're not gonna do that, fingering her or something. Eating her out in a cave at one point. Whatever the fuck was up with that, I'm not sure. Never wanting to kiss her because that's too intimate. And just saying, you're too young for me, we can't do this, you're too young, blah, blah, blah. Over and over again, like a revolving door. I hadn't shaved in months before this trip. I did before coming here, simply because I knew I'd be wearing bikinis, and I'm glad of it now. I doubt Connor would care either way, but I love feeling every pass of his tongue, every little movement as he nibbles and teases and eats. Is he eating your Venus, Hügel? Whatever the fuck that is called in English. Your, like, not your coochie, but further up where your hair grows, or what the fuck is going on? I don't understand why she explicitly had to mention the fact that she shaved, because like people don't, you know, there's people who wear bikinis and have a bush. The fuck? Connor, I would love to suck you off. I know you came when I did, let me do it anyway, you'll like it. He chuckles. You're being very optimistic about my ability to get it up again so soon. I'm certainly not in my prime. Do we have to keep mentioning it? I'm so confused. I feel like she genuinely made Maya seem even younger than she is, and him even older. She wants to suck his dick so bad, and I don't think she does it in the actual, like, not in a real, but in the proper book. She does it in the epilogue as the highlight. Which is kind of funny. Is it love if watching him almost laugh at my jokes turned me on 10 times more than professionally filmed and heavily filtered thirst traps dudes send on apps? Does anyone get turned off by well, yeah, but on by that, except like moms that don't know that they're using filters that put up on paternal irritation he reserves for me only. Paternal, okay, that's a good word to use when you're talking about your crush. who you humped on. If our relationship is keeping you from experiences that you should be having at your age, then I am taking advantage and I can no longer allow myself to. I love you, I interrupt him. Maya, I love you. No, I love you and you are my best friend. And he keeps saying no, and she's just like, I don't care what you say, because no is not a full sentence to me. Maya, he wasn't pretending, talking about the dude from the other book that meets her. I guarantee you that every boy your age wants you, men my age want you, wherever you go, every fucking body is looking at you. And then he goes, I have never wanted anything as desperately, as ungovernably, as persistently as I want you. As like, okay, cute. And then he has to make a comparison, like how bad he wants her. He goes, not a single goddamn thing. Not my dead mother back. He would rather fuck a 20-year-old than bring his dead mother back. I'm speechless, and at this point, like, I don't think his mom was like a bad person or anything, not as far as I remember, that she like did him wrong, like, you know, because otherwise he wouldn't want her back in the first place. But why are we saying that we want to fuck a 23-year-old? I'm literally getting sick while I'm filming this. His knuckles brush up and down my flank. Inside he's splitting me up, but oh, with his cock. But his touch is butterfly light. I fucking remember. Yeah? Afterward, I told myself that it was a good thing, that maybe you'd be able to take me easier. Oh yeah, cause his dick is so big. Does anyone, take you easily? He shakes his head. Good, I'll be the one. He has a humongous penis. Too bad he doesn't have many more years of having it up. I'll terrify you. It won't. I grind against the heel of his hand, feeling like I'm contained by him this way. Not a person, but a beam of raw nerve endings, reduced to the blazes where I'll get to the fucking point. I will put a baby in you. I'm coming again. Oh yeah, the first time they actually fuck, she comes 5 times, no joke. On page, 5 times, no joke. That's actually the last thing I marked, because I just realized that I don't really give a fuck. Listen, is this just another Ellie Hazelwood book? Yes. Oh, what happens to Ellie and his girlfriend, whose name I forgot? I can tell you. I can tell you tomorrow, because my camera is running out of battery. Ellie and Rue, the people from the other book, they wanted to get married in Italy, but things kept happening, like the volcano eruption, or there was an issue with her dress, and all of these things kept adding up, so it was like a cursed wedding, which eventually just led them to elope, I think is the correct word, or maybe not, but I don't really care, in the morning without anyone attending. They wake up one morning, they're like, let's just get married right now. They get like a government official, or whatever the fuck, I don't know who marries people, I don't really know any of that, I'm sorry. I've only ever been to 2 weddings in my life. So they end up getting married, and the only people in attendance are Maya and Connor. And the night before this, they had sex for the first time, where she came 5 times, and then I remember it now, he didn't let himself come, and that really rubbed her the wrong way after he rubbed her the right way, if you know what I mean. And she goes to the bathroom, and she's like, let me just like give you a BJ, and he's like, no, and she's like, fuck this guy, and she ends up like breaking things off with him after pining for him for 3 years and finally getting what she wants, which is his cock. She's like, I can't do this anymore. You will never let yourself, like, you will never let me have you. You will never. Next morning, her brother gets married on a whim with only the 2 of them in attendance, which would piss me the fuck off if I was an attendee of this wedding and I was flying out to fucking Italy anyway. To each their own. When they return to the house, Connor kind of like holds Maya back, and he's like, I thought about everything. Or I don't even think he says anything, he just kisses her, which he has been refusing to do before. And he's like, I thought about what you said last night after I didn't come, and you're right, and I'm sorry, and I want to be with you. And can I be honest? What the fuck kind of ending is that? You mean to tell me that this man was denying himself of a 15-year younger girl for 3 years, like restraining himself, not wanting to fuck her so bad he did, like, if he could choose between his dead mother and fucking her, he would choose fucking her. And now he is just like, you know what? never mind. It's not that deep. And they just get together. That is the payoff in the end. He's just like, okay, whatever. It's not that deep. It's not like she proved herself in any way or he reflected in any way because we weren't in his head. We don't know what was going on. Am I only wearing one earring? Anyway, I felt like the payoff was not there. It was a very unsatisfying ending for me. For her, it was very satisfying, but for me, not so much. Not so much. And he kind of explains to her, you know, I'm 38. If I get in a relationship, I want to get married immediately because I'm old and I don't want to wait around. I want children. And she's like, yeah, okay. Why not? That is another issue where I'm like, because he's like, oh, I don't want to rob you of your experiences that you could have, but you are robbing her of experience that she could have because you now want to get married. If it was like, okay, we can be in a relationship, in a normal relationship, that wouldn't make any difference, but he's like, no, I want to get married, I want to have children. And so you are robbing her of experience she could have. Because she's not even, her frontal lobe isn't even developed yet. If you understand the point I'm trying to make, I think it would be less of an issue, again, if they were just getting together and having a normal relationship and she could still do whatever the fuck she wants, but he's like, no, we're gonna have a baby. He doesn't say it like that, obviously, but that's kind of the undertone, and I don't know if the epilogue is her pregnant. I think it's just her giving him head finally. Better than getting pregnant. I don't want to offend anyone, okay? Just putting that out there, like, you can do whatever you want. It's just my personal opinion. Like, I wouldn't want it for me. Personally. I don't want a child right now. I rebuke it in the name of Jesus! And I also don't think that Maya should have a child with this grown-ass man, but alas, they will have children. And if that's what she wants, I actually don't think they're gonna last. I've already started reading another book, and a lot of the books that I read blur together. I'm currently reading Silver Elite, which will be the next review. I can't wait to read that book and review it for you guys. I can actually wait, but I won't. Let me know if you've read this book, what you think, how you experienced it, if you liked it, if you love Ellie Hazelwood, if you read all of her books, or if you also read them. I want to give a special shout out to one of my viewers, Caitlin. If you're watching this, Caitlin, she actually sent me money. I have a link in my description that is like, I think the platform is called Ko-fi or Ko-fi, and through that you can make a donation to me. And I've had it in there for a while, and I don't know, I just put it in there because I saw a lot of other YouTubers have it. And I was like, I'm just gonna put it there. If anybody wants to support me, you know, they can. And Caitlin is the first ever person after like a year of having it to send me money. 5 euros. Thank you so much. I'm gonna be in Munich over the weekend, and I'll definitely be using that money to buy a matcha. And I'll be thinking about you the entire time while I'm drinking it. Not in a weird way, just in a loving way. And I also want to give a shout out to my members, of course. My members get my videos a day early, and they also vote on reads. They also vote sometimes on what I read, when there isn't like a, how do I put it, like a new release coming out of nowhere like Silver Elite, where I'm like, I just have to read that now because everyone's talking about it. But yeah, I love them. I just love them. They also get exclusive content such as my Ruby Red movie commentary, and I do want to do more member exclusive content. I just don't know what you want to see, so let me know. And I want to do movie reviews, I know, but whatever, I talk about it every video. I'm not whatever. And of course, they also get my eternal peace and love, so if that's something you're interested in, you can consider becoming a member through the link in my description. And I want to give a huge shout out to the newest book hater that joined the book hater club officially, Banjo. Thank you so much for becoming a book hater, Banjo. I actually don't know who your profile picture is. It's like a cute little man, but he's blonde, so I retract. Thank you also to everyone who's just watching and supporting me that way. I love you guys so much. I hope you stay happy, you stay healthy, you don't get with a man that's 15 years older, except if he's really hot and nice. I hope you stay happy, you stay healthy. Peace and love, and hopefully I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye!